Guys, StarCraft fans, I am back. Hopefully going to manage to get a few games casted up for you here this afternoon. The first of which is Bluesteel, who is this red Zerg in the top of this map, against, down in the bottom, the mighty Utumno. We've seen Utumno in action before. We have not seen Bluesteel. Let me get, as always, the production tab up and running for you. And we'll have a look about this map. This is, what map is this? Is this Dusk Towers? I think it might be. I think I've talked about this map before. It's a nice map for Zerg. Very easy to get up to 3 bases very, very quickly. Relatively easy to defend those. Not uncommon. Oh, Utumno, you're walling off the wrong place, mate. That's Utumno, maybe not familiar with this map. That is not your front ramp. That is the ramp to your natural expansion, which is just out the back here. No need to wall that off. This is where you need to be walling. Yeah, relatively easy on this map for any player, really, any race to get up to 3 bases. But we'll see what happens here. The Zerg, as we can see, is going spawning pool first. And I don't mind that. Maybe he wants to get some aggression, some hurt on his opponent pretty early. Perhaps just a defensive spawning pool if he's expecting some hurt. Utumno building barracks right here. And completing a very nice wall. It's too bad that he is not familiar enough with the map to realise that the wall's in the wrong place. But, you know, this is the same Utumno that we saw previously. And I very much like what I'm seeing from Utumno. This looks like a much more organised build. Has he spotted this other ramp? Maybe he has. So another rack's coming down. It's almost hard to believe this is the same Utumno that we saw in action previously. You do need to build more workers though, Utumno, so get on that. But mining gas, building barracks, very pleased with this indeed. Meanwhile, Bluesteel Zerg has gone for this expo, none too surprising. Has been mining gas. As you can see, quite a lot of gas mined so far. So what has he built with that gas? Nothing. Has he only mined? Don't listen to me, folks. He's only just got the 100 that he needs for metabolic boost. Has got a queen up. Is spitting on the hatchery. Looks suspiciously like Bluesteel knows what he's doing here. Has got a roach warren down, which, you know, if you're not sure what to be at against a Terran, a roach warren is always a sensible thing to have. Roaches are tough little critters. These 2 lings out front, just scouting presumably, just seeing what they can see. Utumno moving this barracks around to make room for a supply depot. Any units yet, Utumno? We have got these marines. A pretty common play if you are a Terran is have your first handful of marines and send them around the very perimeter of your base. The reason for that is it's pretty standard play for a Zerg to send their overlord across the map to have a peek into your base to find out what information it can. So 3 marines will get rid of that overlord pretty quickly. And at this early stage of the game, it can be very frustrating for a Zerg to lose overlords. Not as frustrating as it is to be losing SCVs for no good reason. It's only 2 lings, Utumno. It's only 2 lings. Quick, kill it! Run the SCVs away! Don't lose any more! Please don't lose them! Okay, on the plus side, that has prompted Utumno to start building SCVs again. Just looking at what you've got going on, Utumno. Reasonable amount of gas, you're short of SCVs. You know, under these circumstances, since you're not really spending gas, pull these guys out of the gas, get them mining minerals for you. Yeah. Build those SCVs and continue to crank out marines. Okay, Bluesteel up to 3 bases, metabolic boost being researched. That is the sort of speed upgrade for the Zerglings. It's going to make them run much faster. 12 lings in production, roaches popping out. What are these? Double Evo chamber. Bluesteel looking very confident, going to be looking for double upgrades. Has got queens on these hatches. This one not building a queen. Look at the production tab here. Generally a good indication of how well somebody's playing. You always, you know, you want to see lots of things happening up here, and there are indeed lots of things happening. So these Evo chambers finishing up, going up to lair. That will enable him to get these roach upgrades. Will also enable him to go beyond. Oh, I thought it was a double Evo, but it isn't. One of those building nest. Silly me. Benling nest. Benlings are epic against Marines, absolutely epic, but the Benling speed upgrade makes them twice as effective. Now that the layer is done, that upgrade is available, so you want to be researching that as soon as you can, really, Bluesteel, and you want to get this Evo chamber researching your +1 something. If you're going for a mix of Bens and Roaches, typically what I'd expect to see in the upgrade here is armor. And the reason I say that, if you've only got one Evo, the Lings and Benlings benefit from the melee attack upgrade, whilst Roaches benefit from the ranged attack upgrade, and you can't do both of those at once. Armor, however, will benefit all of your units, so probably the choice. What I am pleased about now, Utumno, you are not in awesome shape here, but you're not too bad either. You've got a handful of units, you've got an expand that is mining, you've got a siege tank out. Defensively, siege tanks are awesome. Park that bad boy up somewhere in this area behind these buildings, and it will just pummel anything coming up that ramp. Evo chamber going, engineering bay going down for upgrades. What is pleasing me a lot about what I see here is just the massive improvement we can see in Utumno, and that I love to see. I love to see a player that had never played the game before just go from not really having the first idea of what they're doing to actually being able to produce a nice, competent build. Obviously a bit rough around the edges, need to be building those SCVs, but look at the way Utumno's spending his money. In the previous games I've casted, we've seen Utumno at this stage of the game with about 3 grand in the bank. Here, look, he's broke. That's how you should always be in StarCraft. You should constantly be seeing that message, not enough minerals, until it does your head in. If you're seeing that on the side of the screen, if you're hearing that constantly, you're playing right. So, no upgrades coming out yet for Utumno, but look at this production tab. Just compare this to the player we saw previously. I love that. That is awesome to see. Now is the moment of truth, though. Coming across the map is this force of Roaches from Bluesteel. Looking in the production tab here, we can see that Bluesteel is sort of spreading the love. He's got some Hydras up there, a very powerful unit. Very high DPS, but they're also quite squishy. So typical strategy would be to have Roaches at the front, which are tough and are armoured, Hydras, which are light and not armoured, behind the Roaches. They outrange Roaches and they have a much higher DPS, so the Roaches are basically there to get shot in the face so that your Hydras can stay alive and do the damage they need to. Interestingly though, Spire is also up for Bluesteel. Hasn't quite saturated these bases yet, but is sitting on 3 bases, so quite a tidy income he will have. The Spire allows you to get Mutalisks up, one of the very quickest units in the game. Mutalist's a flying unit, brilliant for harassing your opponent. Fly it into the back of their base here, kill a few workers, and before they can sort of respond to that, fly out again, fly into their other base, kill a few workers. Okay, this force, I will definitely not be able to break this ramp. These 2 siege tanks are going to give that such a pummeling when it tries to move forward. I don't know if Bluesteel is aware of that, but very sensibly not trying to get up that ramp. He would not wake it, not in any sort of cost-effective way. A common strat for the Benlings is to do something called a Benling bust. Doesn't take too many Benlings to kill supply depot, but you need speed for it to work really. So what you would do is maybe send in a couple of Roaches to this sort of area to soak up siege tank shots, then run the Benlings past into this so that you can then, once the wall is opened, run your fast Lings past all of this stuff and into a mineral line to start doing work on your opponent's economy. Oh, Bluesteel is going for it, and I don't think this is going to go well. Those Benlings just getting annihilated by the siege tanks before they can connect. That is an absolute moolering. Yeah, Utumno's got to be pleased with that. Utumno, if you send SCVs up here, they can repair the stuff in your wall. So commonly, if you know an attack like that is coming, pull a whole bunch of workers, have them in this area on auto repair. If you're not familiar with auto repair, if I just click an SCV here, down at the bottom you can see that one of the options is repair, which is the R button. You can use that and click repair and then click on the thing that you want them to repair. But if you right click with the mouse on that auto casts repair, and that means that SCV will repair anything that needs repairing in its kind of vision range. So a common strat, if you know an attack is coming and you want to be able to fend it off, have 10, 12 SCVs lurking in this area, on auto repair, and it just means that these become twice as hard to kill, so it becomes much harder for the Zerg to bust through. But ultimately, that was an incredibly cost-effective engagement for Utumno. As we can see, units killed 19 to 5, so that didn't go too prettily there for Bluesteel. If we look at the units lost tab up here, we can see that the resources lost are double what the Terran has lost at this stage of the game. Okay. Where are we at? Bluesteel, just go and expand nuts, and why not? You are a Zerg, take over the map, that's what you do. These corruptors, though, rather than mutas, are a bit of a surprise to me. I'm sure I saw a muta in the production tab at one point. Did I? Did I see a muta? Ba-ba-da-ba-da. Yeah, where is the muta? Oh, they're at home, look, just hanging out. Okay, so these bases everywhere. You know, that's a standard Zerg strat. The more hatcheries you have, the faster you can build units, the quicker you can truck through this money. Both players now beginning to pull a bit of cash, and that doesn't surprise me. Utumno, your income is going to go down fairly shortly because you are beginning to mine out this base. So what you really need to do is push down into this area and get yourself a third base. Don't forget, these command centers can drop mules. Very well done, Utumno. It's almost like they can hear me, isn't it? Now you are badly supply blocked. Another thing that you can do with the energy on these is drop extra supply onto your supply depots. So the X button allows you to do that, doubles the supply that a supply depot provides. So if you find yourself supply blocked, you can just really quickly hold down X and go blap 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 and earn yourself a sneaky 24 supply. This production tab still looking very, very healthy for Bluesteel. Not really sure what upgrade path to go for, so he's just going for everything. Here we have the Greater Spire coming in, we have the Lurker Den, and we have Adrenal Glands for Lings. So really it's a pretty broad sweep. To give you some pointers on that, the Greater Spire allows Corruptors, where are those Corruptors, to turn into Broodlords. Broodlords are utterly vicious things. Broodlords can just kill roughly everything from the other side of the map. What they cannot do is shoot air units. Broodlords basically very slow flying units that spit out things a bit like Lings that kind of time out after 20 seconds. So it's just a constant supply. Oh, and there we go. Instantly morphing in these Broodlords. They will easily deal with this wall. The broodlings will run up this ramp, and actually these siege tanks will do as much damage to these depots as the broodlings will because of the splash damage from the siege tanks. So those broodlords are going to be a very potent tool indeed. Utumno, you need to know this is coming. A Thor, very effective against broodlords, but it has to be microed. The Thor will shoot the broodlings close to it. And the broodlords will be so far away that you need to get vision of those, and you need to move your Thors into a position where they can reach the broodlords. Otherwise you're going to be trading units with what are effectively free units for the Zerg. These mutas, you know, nothing wrong with building mutas, but I'd like to see them at work in mineral lines around the back. They're not really a unit for a straight up fight. These production tabs still looking healthy. Both players working hard in this game, and I'm really pleased by that. Let me see if I can get you. What sort of APMs have we got? Look at that average APM, man. That's beast. This APM for Utumno way up. Look, way up on what we saw in the previous games for him. So you know, I've said it before, I'll say it again. I am really pleased by what I see. It's fantastic to see players just improving. This sensor tower is going to finish up for Utumno, and he is going to be able to see that there is a bunch of Zerg stuff parked outside his base. He knows this is coming. Those siege tanks can do some work on this. They will do good work against these Hydras, but those Broodlords just annihilating everything. Look at how quickly all this stuff goes down. Broodlords just not even getting touched. So a very tricky scenario here for Utumno. Needs to bring these Thors forward and needs to be focusing these down, needs to be churning Vikings out. You need Vikings from this starport, because these broods are the only thing left now, but they cannot shoot stuff in the air. They will annihilate all your ground forces, Utumno. There's nothing you can do against those. These Thors need to be forward, they need to be attacking them. Look, these broods haven't even taken a hit, literally nothing is shooting them. Now finally the Thor is swinging into action, but it's too late. These broodlings just pump out so much damage output. Earlier we saw Bluesteel getting these plus melee attack upgrades, and the Broodlords benefit from that. That stuff that they are churning out is +3 attack, and yeah, it was always going to be a savagely difficult hold for Utumno, and that looks like GG. But a very nice game indeed, with Utumno playing just so much better than we saw before, so much just way better. But Bluesteel looking very robust indeed, building a lot of tech, expanding well. You know, even with all of these bases, his cash hasn't spiraled too far out of control. It's very easy once you're on 5-6 bases as a Zerg to suddenly realise you've got 3-4 grand in the bank. So, you know, a pretty competent looking game. 7 Broodlords in production. Look, no need Bluesteel. This game is over. You don't need Broodlords. You need the Mutants and Corruptors to be finding the flying stuff, so that this game will end. Well, that was quite a thing. Yep, the first attack held very successfully by Utumno. Didn't manage to capitalise on that. Really needed to move out, get up to a 3rd base, really expand his production to be able to hold what was coming next. Unfortunately, those Broodlords are such a game changer, and this number of Broodlords really takes a mighty, mighty force to defeat. That is a very, very expensive army. If we look at the active forces tab, you can see that there is, you know, a total of about 12,000 resources in this army. That's quite substantial. Presently, of course, poor old Utumno has nothing, and this base is going to get found and destroyed pretty quickly. GG! Ha! Where are you? Not telling. Well played. I'm going to skip straight into the next game of this series that I believe has already been emailed to me. Hope you enjoyed that one. Let's see what happens in game 2.